Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're checking out top 10 disturbing British comedies.
4 years I've been registered.
Disabled.
No, with a dating agency.
Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the darkest of dark British comedies that leaves audiences laughing and disturbed. We'll shy away from spoilers here, but watch these shows at your own peril.
Thought maybe she seemed a bit off.
Yeah, or maybe, Deborah, she's just flourishing. Because her neurotic mother's not there to stifle her by constantly begging for attention with passive-aggressive gestures of goodwill. She's quite obviously born of some pathological desire to be needed, of which, by the way, your ridiculous and destructive book is a perfect example. An Evening with Deborah Green? Shove it up your ass!
Before we begin, we publish new content every day.
I love Olivia Colman. Y'all go to WatchMojo UK and like and subscribe if you want. Maybe give me a like and subscribe here.
So be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Ring the bell.
Number 10. Ideal. With all due respect to Johnny Vegas, Ideal describes the timing of this dark comedy. Indeed, the then troubled comedian had languished in panel shows and bit parts until Graham Duff placed him at the centre of his Salford set sitcom. Vegas plays Moz, a cannabis dealer, whose flat and adjacent characters form the setting and situation of the show. Controversially cancelled at the height of its popularity, Ideal aired on BBC Three, mainly as it was too dark and unique for the mainstream channels.
Really?
Obviously, Moz's choice of career is a dark choice for comedy, but the characters give us the most disturbing vibes here, all played for realism over absurdity, and quite disconcerting when you think about them. Yes, particularly Judith.
Whoa. That's a great idea for a TV show, I think. Gives me an idea. Yeah, good premise. Because it's like instant stakes. It's an illegal operation. Low production overhead. It's in one location, his flat. And you get all these customers coming in. They're all different characters. Good idea. But apparently it was disturbing. I'm sure they're not showing the most disturbing stuff on WatchMojo UK. Sorry, it got cancelled, yo. Maybe I can find it somewhere.
Particularly Judith.
Judith. What does he mean? Who's Judith? Judith on Ideal. Joanne Neary moves in across the hall from Moz at the start of the series 2. She is a timid, demure necrophiliac who is constantly saying sorry. She soon becomes the dealer's potential love interest. They are mutually attracted, but he is disgusted at the idea of her having S-word with dead bodies. Yeah. Okay. I see. Yep.
Number 9. Psychoville.
Well, shall I put the kettle on? I'm absolutely gasping.
So was he.
We might be inside number 9, but for this list, Reece Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton are taking us to Psychoville. Half of the League of Gentlemen didn't spend too long away from Royston Vasey before heading back into black comedy and multi-role performances.
Don't push your luck, kid. I've drowned bigger cats than you.
Unlike their previous show, Psychoville was less of a sketch show and more of a psychological horror mixed with dark comedy. Psychoville, which isn't actually a setting in the series, centres around a mysterious plot that could have easily been mistaken for that of a Hitchcock film, which was incidentally one of the key inspirations for the show. Though Psychoville only lasted for 2 series, its impact was profound.
And believe me, mums and dads, I know pain.
Okay, hang on. Yeah, they're not giving any spoilers away, are they? I need more information. A serial killer obsessed man-child who still lives with his mother, Mr. Jelly, an embittered one-handed children's entertainer. Oscar Lomax, a blind millionaire who collects stuffed toy animals. Interesting. Joy Aston, a midwife who treats a practice doll as if it's her real... That was the one we saw. As if it's her real child. Hilarious. And sad. Robert Greenspan, a panto dwarf in love with his Snow White who believes he has the power of telekinesis. Funny. All 5 are connected by a mysterious blackmailer who has sent them a letter each with the message, "I know what you did." The series is named after the title given to the League of Gentlemen when the series was sold to Japan and Korea. What Hitchcock thing did... What? The episode is an homage to the Alfred Hitchcock film Rope, in that it appears to be shot in one continuous take, even though it was actually filmed in 2. Rope.
Believe me, mums and dads. I know pain.
Number 8. Flowers.
Eat more happy pills.
Oh, no, that's not how they work.
When I get married, I'm not going to stand around in my tiny blue pants. I'm going to make dang sure that I do everything in my power to guarantee that they love me until they die. Obviously, they'll die first because of my immaculate immune system, but until then, my God.
Although the show revolved around depression, Flowers was extremely funny. It was set around the eponymous Flowers family and made a backdrop of constant tension and suspicion. Seamlessly bridging the gap between comedy and drama, Flowers starred Olivia Colman, who would go on to win an Academy Award shortly afterwards, and Julian Barrett, best known for being one half of the Mighty Boosh. Although it only lasted 2 series, both were critically acclaimed, owing to the delicacy of how series creator and star Will Sharp had handled the more serious, grounded topics and counterbalanced them with laughs. They didn't handle the theme of mental health, but included it.
Wow, yeah, that's funny. Gross and funny. This guy was on season 2 of White Lotus. Very good actor. Well done, sir.
Number 7. The Mighty Boosh.
What are you going
I've
to be
heard
wearing
of
tonight?
this.
Why? Nothing outlandish, okay?
Same guy, right?
Unlike our last entry, Julian Barrett's breakthrough to mainstream comedy was decidedly more abstract than his later endeavours. Along with Noel Fielding, the comedy duo, also known as the Mighty Boosh, adapted their surreal stage shows for TV, setting their quasi-sitcom, if you can call it that, in a bizarre alternate reality, and around a very loose central plot of 2 failing musicians looking for fame.
That is Jinko. He was my friend.
But let's be honest, no one really watched The Boosh for the plot, but its absurd cast of characters, non-sequitur scenes, and the unusual a cappella musical numbers which coined the term crimping. When you have an alien and a gorilla forming 2 of the main cast, you know the Mighty Boosh has been around.
Oh, this is an outrage!
I've heard of the Mighty Boosh. I've never seen it. I think I've only heard of it through WatchMojo UK videos. I didn't know it was so surreal. This gorilla person freaks me out a little bit. That is disturbing.
Number 6. Nighty Night.
Say there's a happy young boy cycling by your window. He looks in and he sees you're better with a doll face. He's going to fall off his bicycle and kill himself. And you've got murder on your hands then, Karen.
Well, nothing says disturbing like a cast of characters who are doomed from the start. Nighty Night has just that. The main characters are either terminally ill or significantly unwell.
What is that?
Don't know. Should we scroll on?
Just to add a little more to the morbidness of the sitcom, the main plot surrounds a murder of one of those central characters via, of all things, a poisoned Angel Delight. This comedy of cruelty won a Royal Television Society Award for its unique yet hilarious efforts. It also marked an early solo entry from writer and creator Julia Davis, who would go on to give us a lot more darkly humorous tales.
And I just say, Joy will do anything for this salon, and bear in mind she can remove her dentures.
Oh, wow. This kind of looks familiar. There's some show with a woman who looks like her, might not be her, blonde, thin, and she tells everyone she has cancer, but then she doesn't, but she keeps up the lie that she has cancer, which seems disturbing. Is that this show? They didn't mention that. I don't know. This looks hilarious, though.
Number 5. Inside Number 9.
Chill out, bitch.
Steve Pemberton and Reece Shearsmith's Psychoville may have concluded, but the pair were far from over. Only a few years later, their next big dive into the dark waters of their psychological humour emerged. Inside Number 9. It was an immediate hit, and enjoyed a decade-long tenure on the Beeb, or rather, an apt 9 series. Unlike their previous work, each episode was set in its own universe and employed only one link across the show. The main setting was usually a room behind a door marked with the number 9. What room that would be varied wildly, as did the characters, tone, themes, everything else. Inside Number 9 was also quite poignant at times, sometimes approaching drama, but always maintained its popularity.
Wow. That's an out there idea. So the only thing that links each episode is that it takes place behind a door marked number 9. Wow. Brilliant. Reminds me of an improv show I did called The Bed. Each scene has to take place somewhere where there's a bed. Hospital room, hotel room, a bedroom. It could be anything. Similar. Interesting.
Number 4, Monkey Dust.
Here's the kids from the flats.
What are they doing?
They've broken into the zoo again. They're doing handbrake turns on a giraffe.
A more accurate question than where do we start when discussing Monkey Dust is probably how did they? Truly anarchic, the BBC Three animated sketch show was certainly no cartoon, delving into plenty of taboo subjects that no one else dared to go, and got away with it.
I've told you, we don't have any beds. We don't have any trolleys.
But I think my father's had an heart attack.
Well, if you're prepared to pay £1.
The brainchild of writer-actor Sean Pye and Harry Thompson, whose passing marked the end of the series in its prime. When listing Thompson as one of their top 50 funniest and influential people in Britain, The Guardian attached their view that Monkey Dust was the most subversive show on television. High praise indeed, and yet still not quite enough to fully encapsulate how much of the trend Monkey Dust would buck.
Do you remember that weekend in Paris after we got married? This song was on the radio. We spent the whole weekend in bed.
No.
Oh, Gordon, how could you forget our honeymoon? Sometimes I think my mother was right.
Yo, Monkey Dust looks hilarious. This guy passed away, though? Let me look that up. Monkey Dust. Harry Thompson. Oh, he had lung cancer. He was never a smoker, though. Damn. He was treated at a London hospital and married Wadcock on Monday, November 7th, 2005, before dying later that day. Oh, looks like he made some great art, though. I gotta watch that. It looks hilarious.
Number 3, Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Welcome to Dark Place, Liz.
I think I've heard of this.
My hand!
In 2004, Garth Marenghi burst onto the scene with found footage of Dark Place. The 1980s Channel 4 production had previously only been broadcast in Peru, but the lost show was given extra commentary and cleaned up for British audiences. And yes, none of this is true, although the authenticity is off the charts.
Suck on that!
Marenghi himself is fictional, and the series was a show within a show within a show. They're all household names now, but actor Matt Berry, along with co-creators Richard Ayoade and even the character of Garth Marenghi, in a bizarre twist, started their long television careers with this gem. The Edinburgh Fringe adaptation only had a meagre audience at first, but it grew exponentially with the internet frequently spitting out clips.
I'm out of here. Not so fast.
Number 2, Jam.
Oh, that's good. That's good. What a brilliant idea. I wish I thought of it. It's pretty meta. It's ahead of its time. I remembered the name Garth Marenghi, and I thought Matt Berry was Garth Marenghi. But now that I have some clarity on what's going on, maybe I would enjoy it. I like this. He's waiting.
Not so fast.
Number 2, Jam.
To watch a patient in a state of unavoidable decline runs against every instinct I have.
Arguably, Chris Morris seemed hell-bent on winding up TV channel controllers. Another of his shows that transitioned from radio to television, Jam began as the cult classic Blue Jam, a sketch show that was devoid of through-line and made full use of ambient music to bring humour and horror together in listeners' ears.
Of course I want the change. What do you think the gun's for?
For the TV iteration, Jam even dubbed in some of the same audio from the radio show, making it an even more jarring experience with viewers. It wasn't popular with everyone, but Jam's experimental and controversial humour ticks all the boxes of being a disturbing comedy.
Now, hang on. Look, mate, look, it's quite simple. Right? You sold us the telly, you delivered it yesterday, you set it up. And the first time we start using it, it starts pouring lizards. So we want you to come up with a solution, right?
Sweep them up.
And yes, you should notice that many of its cast have already appeared on this list with their own disturbing comedies. We see you, Julia Davis.
Huh. Jam. Experimental black comedy sketch show. Oh, the audio they used sometimes was from the original radio show, like we were saying, but the actors would lip sync their lines. That added to the program's unsettling atmosphere and featured unorthodox use of visual effects and sound manipulation. Interesting. Black Mirror is not on this list yet. That's kind of disturbing. I think maybe these go beyond Black Mirror. Black Mirror is not a comedy, though, too, so I see. It had no opening or closing titles.
Number 1, The League of Gentlemen. Was there ever any doubt? The League of Gentlemen refers to the quartet of Jeremy Dyson, Reece Shearsmith, Steve Pemberton, and Mark Gatiss, all together creating a bizarre radio comedy filled with increasingly obscure characters. They never had much faith in the show's transition to TV, in which 3 of the 4 would star as Royston Vasey's weird population. Yet the BBC and audiences absolutely loved the eponymous show's quirkiness because of just how outlandish it is.
We didn't burn him!
The initial 3-series run inspired a whole host of comedies that followed. After a metaphysical spin-off movie, The League has enjoyed many separate successes, before reuniting and returning to stage and screen in 2017.
Put your hand in!
Has comedy become too light for you, or are you glad to have broken free of the darkness? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
With our picks, check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of The League of Gentlemen. I do believe. I think it's the show where it takes place in this little town, right? Royston Vasey, a fictional town in northern England originally based on Alston, Cumbria. Right. This is another great idea for a show. A little town with a bunch of wild characters. Brilliant. I love the British sense of humor, y'all. Dark. Subversive. It's fun. Well, y'all, I'd like to thank my patrons. I'd like to thank my Buy Me a Coffee folks. Thank y'all for watching this with me, and I'll see you next time. Later.